All right, guys, welcome back. What we're tying today is one of my favorite small bait fish imitation flies. This thing has caught everything from over aggressive bluegill all the way up to large striped bass, carp, trout. It takes them all. What we're going to tie today is the woolly worm or the woolly booger, whichever way you want it. What we have in the vise today, this is size number 6. It's a Daiichi 2220 streamer hook. It's 4X long and 1X strong, a little bit stronger. Bead that we're running on top of here today, this is a 4.8 millimeter from Rivers Wild. The thread we'll be using will be a UTC Ultra Thread 140 in black. What we'll be using for the body is dark olive saddle hackles. For the tail, we'll be using dark olive marabou for the tailing fibers. And for the flash, we got lateral scale. This stuff works awesome. It gives off an unbelievable glint underwater. We'll be using that in a tailing material, and we may even tie 1 or 2 little strands up at the front. For the body itself, we'll be using olive chenille in medium. And for the rib of this fly, we're going to be using a UTC Ultra Wire copper in medium. This fly, once you tie a few of these, you can just churn them out. Normally, if I know that I'm gearing up for a fishing trip where these flies are going to come in handy, it's not uncommon for me to buy a pack of 25 of these 2220 Daiichi streamer hooks and tie all 25 of them in the same color and the same size. Out of all the colors that you can tie this fly, this olive green one is spectacular. It's always done very well for me. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to come in behind this bead. We're going to get a good base of thread down. This nice solid base of thread is going to give that chenille something to latch on to and keep it from rolling around. In previous videos, you've seen me pull on this chenille and get it to rotate a little bit extra. It's very important on this fly that you do that so the body stays put. All right, come in, trim out that tag in. We're going to come in, we're going to put this marabou in on the tailing material. Little trick that I picked up from Kelly Gallup. This right here is it's a carrier for Simms studs. I got a pair of Simms studs that I have in my Simms fishing boots. What I did, I've taken the studs out, of course, and I've cut a small piece of sponge in there that stays nice and wet. I like to get my tailing materials wet so it's easier to measure, easier to handle. Plus, you don't want to be putting this stuff in your mouth. According to Kelly, it's hazardous for your health, so don't put this stuff in your mouth. All right, for the tail, once it's wetted down, you can see how it's easy to control, easy to measure. You're going to come in, length of the hook. If anything, you're going to make it a little bit long. Never short this. That way you don't end up shorting your fly. Control that fiber. Here are those body materials. This is going to give it a little extra bulk. And lock that in. I'm going to come in and clean that out. You always want to back your thread off a little bit before you go snipping stuff. That way you don't accidentally clip it. All right, at this point, you're going to come in, and this is where you're going to tie in your copper rib. For the new tires, it would work out good for you if you tied in 2 extra pieces instead of 1, because you're not really familiar with it, or you just pull on this a little too hard. You can rip that clean out, and this is one of the last steps of this fly. And if you're all the way in the front, now you got to figure out how you're going to tie that off. All right, my copper rib's tied in right there really good. I'm going to come in, I'm going to take 2 strands of this lateral scale flash. This stuff is outstanding. It makes great presentation underwater. All right, we're going to come in on the side. We're going to match that up to the tail. pinch and loop, another pinch and loop, couple up to the front, and then just fold it back over where you want it. Lock that bad boy in like that. Come in, trim those off. Always come in at an angle. You don't want any flat cuts. If you come in and you're putting your flash in, or you're adding an extra tail or an extra layer on top of here, which sometimes I do on my larger flies, don't cut them square. You want that to always be tapering. You don't want to just square cut off. All right, we got that tied in. Now we're going to come in with our body material. This is the medium chenille. We're going to strip that down to that cotton core. We're going to come in, catch it on the side, on the top, whatever you're comfortable with. Good tight turns. Lock that in. We're going to progress the thread to the front. Now this time you're going to come all the way up here under that bead. You're going to let that ride all the way up under there. Now, first turn, once you make that first full turn, grab the tail of material, the flash and everything, give it a little cinch. Second and third turns, once again, the more you do this, you'll see that chenille will just turn just that little extra bit. And then you snap it off just like that. And it's time to back up. Now, so what happens when you put too much thread on it, or too much torque on it, you don't ever want to rush your flies. So all you got to do is back it off. People go, oh, why don't you edit this out? Because I don't edit out live. I could always make it look like I do it the first time perfect every time. That's not real life. This is going to happen, especially for you new fly tires. It's going to break off. You're going to get angry and frustrated. Just remember, don't rush it. Let's catch it in again. Try that one more again. Back up to the front. And then we're going to come around, lock it in, give it that pull. Give it that pull. Give it a pull. One more. All right. Now we're up to the front. One last little pull, lock it in. Catch that in. You can probably still see that thread pushing that bead around a little bit. Don't worry about that. That's going to take care of itself here in just a second. Come in, clean that up. Now, the feather that you're going to look to make the wing on this fly, when you're digging through your saddle hackles, you're going to run across the ones that are, the feathers are just really stiff. You can see it, hopefully, on the camera. You can see how stiff those are. Those aren't the feathers that you want. You can, yes, run this feather, but what I recommend is you look for the feathers in the pack, like this, that are extra webby. So you can manipulate that. That's going to go wherever you want it to go. And then also underwater, it's going to pulsate like nobody's business. All right, so we're going to come in. You can see where this almost gets a really, really fluffy part down here. I'm going to pull that out. Just like that. I always pull, the way I'm going to wrap, I will pull more off of that side. And that'll allow that feather to make that first turn without messing up. You'll see that in just a second. You take the end of your feather, put that right up in the bead. A couple good hard wraps. Now, you can pull this feather. You're going to want to pull these fibers down and back. You're going to get one full wrap. Now you're going to start doing open spiral wraps down the entire length of this fly. You can probably see how it's giving it that teardrop look. That's what we're looking for. All right, and when we get to the back with my offhand, I'm going to grab that top wing material. I'm going to pick my copper wire up, catch that in. This is where that extra one comes in handy if you're a new tire and you happen to pull that a little too much or too aggressively and that snaps that off, you'll have an extra one to do it. Once you get comfortable, you can leave that extra one off, or you don't have to do it all, and you can just practice getting it right the first time. Now with this, you're going to counter wrap this winging material. If you go slow, you're going to trap material like you won't believe. This is going to get matted down in places. The easiest way to do this, nice open spirals, and just go through it fast. The faster you go through it, the better off you are. Sometimes I'll come in and I'll actually tie this with gold wire. I love the green and the gold wire. It makes a really good combination. We're going to come in, break that out. This thing fishes phenomenal. You can't go wrong with the woolly booger. We're going to build up under that bead just a little bit. As you're twisting around, just pull to the front, and that thread will work its way in through there. You can see how it's building up that collar now. Now, if you want to, you can come in. I like to put this lateral scale in. Just one simple little strand right on the side of that fly. Don't want to go past the tail though. Just like that. So we're going to come in. We got that measured up. Change hands. Cut the second one, same length. I usually tie these in one at a time. I'll hold this other piece in between my lips right here. That way I got good control and I don't drop it like that. But it's easy to find because this stuff sticks out like a sore thumb. You're going to come in and tie that right down the side of the shank of the hook. Nice, easy tie-in. You can switch it over. Run a quick loop behind the side toward yourself. Take a couple quick turns, and this thing is ready to fish. Like I said, I tie these up a lot. I fish these a lot. This was actually one of the flies that was requested in the comment box below. So if you've got a fly you want to see tied, and it fits the criteria for this beginner fly tying session that we've got started here, I'll be glad to spin some up for you. That right there is the woolly booger. This thing will take fish. I fished this all the way down to a size 12 4X and as large as a size 2. Sometimes with these smaller flies, I'll actually come in and tie this articulated. Works great here on the waters in Kentucky for a numerous assortment of fish. Love it. One of those flies that you really can't say a whole lot about, or can't say enough of, really. It's a great producer. It fishes good. It's got great action in the water as long as you use that webby material and you don't use those rigid fibers. I'll tell you what, if you tie these up and you can't catch a fish, you shoot me a message and we'll get together. And I'll show you how to fish this bad boy. This thing will take fish in the winter. It'll take it in the summer. It'll take it in the middle of the hottest part of summer when the water levels are low. This thing will still produce fish. I love it. More than probably just about any other thing other than that black and white zebra midge. Hopefully this catches you a lot of fish, because it definitely catches me a lot of fish. And if so, you know, like, share, and subscribe. Tie you some of these up. Pass this on to your friends, even the ones that don't watch the YouTube channels. And if you got questions, comments, leave them below. Like my last few flies I've put up, I'll leave a link in the description of what this fly is made of, in case you guys have forgot. And until next time, tight lines.